So I'm going to present this video as if I was teaching it to a group of kids. I don't happen to have a group of kids in front of me, so I'm just going to pretend because there's the style of questioning that I think is important in introducing this topic. So I've done this topic many times in many different classrooms, and this is sort of the basic way that I introduce it. Okay, so guys, I'm going to need your help in figuring out how this machine works. Okay, so this is called the fusion machine. Okay, in fact, this is going to be the base 2 fusion machine because there is more than one kind of fusion machine. So this one is the base 2 one. So I want you to just take a look at the machine and tell me what are some of the things that you notice about this machine. Okay, so you see squares, or some of you are saying boxes. Right, okay. So how about, well, we're going to call those boxes compartments. Okay, so those boxes are compartments. And if you notice to the left, there's that dash, dash, dash at the end. That dash means that you are allowed to add on as many compartments as you feel you need. Okay, so if you get to the point where you're like, hey, it would be nice to have another compartment, or it would be useful, then you would just add that on. Okay, anything else you notice about the machine? Okay, so on the right, you're talking about that sort of little door or entryway. Okay, so that is where we're going to bring in our dots. So I'm gonna enter in a dot into the machine, and then you're gonna watch with me to see what happens and figure out how this whole thing works. Okay, so let's just go ahead and start. So let's bring in a dot. Okay, so we'll bring the dot in. Okay, so what happened? Right, it just came into the machine, and then nothing really happened after that. Okay, so once the machine has stopped working or doing what it would normally do, then what we do is code it. Okay, so our coding here is going to be basically looking at how many objects are in each compartment. Okay, so if we bring one dot in, then we have one dot in that compartment. So 1 would just be coded as 1. Okay, so let's bring another dot in and see what happens. Shazam! Wow, okay, something definitely happened there. Who can tell me what went on? Who can describe it? Okay, so the two dots shazammed together, okay, and became one object in the next compartment. Okay, so, okay, well, let's call that coming together that you described. Let's call that as if they fused together, because this is a fusion machine. So we're going to say it fuses together and then went to the next compartment. All right, so let's go ahead and code. So how many objects do we have in the second compartment? Now, is there actually 2 objects, or is there just 1 object? Okay, so you guys would say there's just 1 object. Okay, so we'll code that as 1, and we'll code the other as 0. Okay, so first compartment was 1, or second compartment was 1, the first compartment now has 0 in it. Okay, so 2 would be 1, 0. Now I hear some people saying 10. Did you see me at any point bringing into the machine 10 dots? or did I just bring 2 dots? Right, we only brought in 2 dots, so it can't be 10. We didn't have 10 dots. We only had 2. So this is where we have to be really careful with our language and not talk about that as 10, but talk about it as 1, 0, because that's really what happened. We had 1 in one compartment and none in the first compartment, right? So we have to be really careful. Okay, so let's bring in another dot and see what happens. Okay, nothing really big happened there. All right, so let's go ahead and code. Who'd like to code that for me? Okay, so in the second compartment, there is 1. And now in the first compartment, there is also 1. Okay, so we could code 3 dots as 1, 1. Cool. All right, let's go to, what do you guys think is going to happen if I bring in a 4th dot? Okay, so you think it's going to Shazam again. Why do you think it's going to Shazam again? Okay, because the first time it Shazam, there were 2 things in there? Okay, well, that could be. Anybody else? Okay. All right, so let's just see. Those are all good thoughts. Let's see what actually happens when we bring in the 4th dot. Shazam! Shazam! Okay. All right. So who thinks they know how this machine works? Okay. Seems to make sense. Let's see if it continues to work. Okay, let's code this. Who's going to code it for me? Okay, 1, 0, 0. Okay, so let's bring in a 5th dot. Okay, nothing happened. All right, so who can code this for me? Okay, 1, 0, 1. Okay, and now what's going to happen when I bring in the 6th dot? You think it's going to Shazam again. How many times is it going to Shazam? Okay, let's see. Shazam. And who wants to code for me? Okay, 1, 1, 0. Okay, let's bring in, if we bring in another dot, what's going to happen? You don't think any Shazams. Okay, why is that? Okay, well, let's see. Yeah. So let's code it. Who wants to code for me? Okay, 1, 1, 1. All right, so I'm going to bring in an 8th dot, but before I do, I want you guys to turn to the person beside you and describe what's going to happen in each compartment. Okay, see if you can figure out together what exactly is going to occur when we bring in that 8th dot. Okay, so then you're going to give the students a few minutes to discuss their ideas and then bring it back and take some of their, what they think is going to happen, and then go ahead and show them. All right, so let's see what happens when we bring an 8th dot in. Shazam! 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 Well, that was certainly an exciting number. Okay, so let's try and code that. Okay, so 1, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so how many people are feeling pretty confident about how they feel this machine works and could work from here? Okay? So what I need you to do is you're going to take each of you take a fusion machine sheet. So you have the fusion machine on that sheet, and then you have the numbers 1 to 24. So I'm going to get you to code all the way to 24, and then starting back at 0 again, and work your way to 24. So you'll have a sheet, and you'll have one of the plastic sleeves that you can put your sheet in so that you can write using the whiteboard marker. Okay, so take the sheet, take the sleeve, put one inside the other, and then take your whiteboard marker, bring a dot in, right? Draw a dot, then code it, then draw a second dot, use your finger to Shazam it or your cloth, and then draw it in the next compartment, and then code it. Okay, and just keep going like that. And then at the end, we're all going to come together, and I have a couple questions for you to help you or to get you thinking about making some predictions about some other machines that we might encounter. Okay, so at this point, the actual question that there's a few questions that I would ask at the end, and there's questions lots of kids have too. Usually the one almost always that comes up is, what would happen in a base 1 fusion machine? And I love it when that comes up. And it has pretty much come up in every single class. So then the other I ask them is, okay, tomorrow we're going to work on some other base machines. So we're going to take a look for sure at base 3, and we'll maybe pick another one like base 4 or base 5. And I want you guys to think about what's going to be different about the machine, and think about how see if you can predict how it's going to work. Okay? And then usually you can answer questions that the kids themselves have. So this is day 1 of the activity. Thank you for listening.